Hey guys, it's Dima from Dimo's Tech, and today I'm not going to talk about passwords and security etc. too much. What I want to show you is a specific password manager that in my opinion is actually very good. It can be used on your PC, on Windows for example, it can be used on Linux, it can be used on your Android on your phone. I assume there's an iPhone app as well, I'm not really sure about that. Anyway, it's pretty much secure, I would say, password manager that has many options like password generating and etc. And the coolest thing is that it's free, it's open source, so you can use it as much as you want and whenever you want, and it's great. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. Now this is the KeePass website. It's keepass.info. So basically what you want to do is go to the downloads here. And here you have two main versions, I would say. The one is the classic edition. It's basically a streamed, I would say the light version of KeePass. It's fine for a home user, but that's probably it. And you have the professional we are going to use. Now, note that both of them are free, and you can download them as installs and as portables as well. There is absolutely no difference that I found between the installed and the portable, except that on the installed, obviously, when you try to open a KDBX file, which is the file that the KeePass saves all the passwords, you can just press double click on that file and open it with the installed version. If you go down lower at the page, you can find other versions of KeePass. So basically, yeah. Now, those are not official third-party KeePass versions. Some of them are even made for enterprise, some of them are for other systems like Linux, iPhones, Android, many different, versions. But basically for Android, what I use is that one. It's KeePass 2 Android password safe. The coolest thing that I think here is that this version of KeePass for Android can open a KDBX file located on your Google Drive. So basically what I'm doing at home is saving my database of the passwords of the KeePass into Google Drive, so I can access it both from the computer and the phone. So yeah, that's really great, and it always syncs all the passwords between them. So let's go ahead and download the installed version. So this is the main window of KeePass. There's nothing special to it, nothing really fancy, I would say. Basically what you want to do is go to File New and create a new KDBX file, which is the KeePass database. Let's leave it for now just as a new database. And then what you are going to be asked is your main password. So basically you will have to remember only one password just to access this file with all your passwords. So just for now, let's enter something easy like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, it says that it's an easy password, but it's just for testing. Except a master password, you can use a key file, so like certificate, or Windows user account. Now, I wouldn't suggest the Windows user account, as you can see, there's a warning here as well, because whenever you will reset your password to Windows, or if you forget it, you are pretty much screwed, because you won't be able to recover the file. Now, you can define short settings of your file, so basically like database name, description, default username for new entries. If you have a default user, for example, you can go to security and, change some of the security settings. There's not much to change actually, because really there's nothing except the 256-bit key. of AES. You can change the compression. If you don't want compression, you want gzip. Probably you would want to use gzip. And you have something called recycle bin, which is really awesome. So for example, if you want to change your password, for example, you changed your password to, for example, let's say Gmail, but accidentally you didn't press save on the Gmail, for example, on the website, but you did change it on here. So basically you have like a recycle bin, like history to your older passwords, so you can still recover it. Now there are pretty much other settings here as well, but let's go ahead and click OK. So as you can see, it went ahead and created some sample entries here. Basically, whenever you want to enter a new password, save a new credential, you can use one of the predefined folders here, or you can go ahead and add a new group, edit a group. You can also print a group, export, which is very cool. You can export a specific group. So let me give you just one example from my work. We have a QA team that needs to connect to a few servers. Basically, those are test servers around the world. What we do, we created a separate folder for those test servers, and all their information, all the credentials are saved there. And whenever we change anything or something happens and they lose the file or something, we can go ahead to that folder, click export, and just export to them the file. Now, another cool thing, you can export it to XML, to KeePass, whatever, basically whatever format you want, even to an HTML, which is very cool. So even if they don't have a software, they can still use it. Let's go ahead and try to show you some cool stuff. Let's open on one of the samples that we actually created to us. Basically, you can see this is an entry for a specific, so for example, a Gmail account you can save here, or a bank account, whatever you prefer. So you have a title, just the title of what it is. You can, for example, write Gmail. Here you can save your username, and here's the password. You can unveil it here. So this example just wrote password. And if you just want to create new one, so you will have to repeat it. But for our example, we don't want it. And it shows you the quality of a password. For example, here it's a really low quality, 14 bits and 8 characters. Here you can save the URL to your account where you want to log in with it. You can actually choose an icon. There are cool icons here, and you can add your custom icon as well. Now the coolest thing about the software, I think, is that you can generate passwords. Now the generator is pretty awesome. You can use a random MAC address. You can use 256-bit hex key, 128, 40. You can automatically generate password for new entries. And you can derive from previous password, which is very awesome. So what that does is basically, if you have already a password that currently includes only lowercase letters and uppercase letters, and you don't want to change how much you want letters, how many letters, for example, or you don't want it to automatically add anything else or deprecate, for example, the uppercase letters. So basically you can derive from that. And here you can see just use the same template, only small letters, capital letters, and 8 characters again. So this is pretty awesome. Now you have a whole password generator. So basically you have pretty much anything you can think of using digits, how many digits, spaces, special characters, brackets, whatever you prefer. It's very great. Trust me, I didn't encounter any better password generator than this one. You can obviously change how many characters you want, advanced, whatever. Yeah, you can actually preview some generated passwords, which is pretty awesome. So you can generate and just choose one here, or you can just go back to settings, and you can even use your own pattern, by the way. Yeah, This is very cool password generator as well. Um, Aside that, you can write some notes. So basically, if you have something special like accept the username and password, you need to use some additional key or some additional something, you can remind yourself here, or you can check here if the password will expire. So for example, my bank account has a policy that you must change your password every 6 months, if I remember correctly. Basically, you can choose here when the password needs to be changed. Sadly, it won't remind you to change it, but you will see an X on your entry when the password is already expired, so you will know that you have to change it. Let's go ahead and see what other cool stuff we can find here. So if you go to advanced, you can attach files here or string fields. So for example, there are, as I said, some sites that ask accept your username and password, some other stuff, so you can add it here. Or you can use a file attached if you need, I don't know, a certificate or something like that to log in. You can save it here. Under properties, let's see what we have here. Basically nothing really special. You can customize the colors. Auto type. Now you basically can enable auto type of this entry, but I did never actually use it like that. I'll show you a simple way to do that in a moment. History, if you remember, I said before that if you change something accidentally, you can view the history, all the versions of the older passwords that you have here. So this is actually very nice because, for example, again, my bank account, in addition to the policy that you must change a password every 6 months, you need to use something that you didn't use before. So you can't use one of your 5, I think, last passwords that you used. So if you don't remember all the 5 you used already, you will be able to view them here. Let's go ahead and create a new entry just for a moment, just to show you something cool. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to call it FortiGate just for the test, and I'll show you in a moment why. In the username I'm going to enter demo, and in the password I'm also going to enter demo. In the URL, sadly I don't remember the URL, but we'll check it because I already have it open. This is basically, if you don't know what is FortiGate, FortiGate is made by Fortinet. Fortinet is a security company that makes, for example, FortiGates, which are firewalls for corporate, and I think there are home versions as well. So basically, this website allows you to test their newest version online. So it's very cool. You can learn how to use FortiGate online free, or if you have an older version in your office and you want to check the newest one. For those of you who already use FortiGate and don't recognize this green login screen and only know the red squarish, red and gray, I would say, login screen, this is because 5.4 changes the whole view that you'll see in a moment. So I'm going to copy just the link right now and go back here and press OK, because basically we have finished with our product, with our entry. I'm going to click Ctrl S, which saves the file. So yeah, this is something that you must remember. You should use save always. This is in order, for example, if you in a moment open the same KDBX on another computer, or for example from your phone, if you want to see the new saved or edited entries, you must save this file, obviously. Another thing that I forgot to mention before, if you are in a team in your office and you need to use all of the team the same passwords, you can create a file for all the team and use it all at once. So basically, if I'll add something like this and press Ctrl S, the moment that somebody else presses Ctrl S, it can synchronize the file for him as well, and he will see the same passwords that you just added, or he will save the passwords that he added. If two people try to add the same entry or to edit the same entry, you won't lose anything, because the KeePass program will create an additional entry and call it something like the name of the entry, and add something else like conflict, I think. I don't remember exactly. But basically you will be able to find those conflicts and then just choose the one that is necessary, the one that is the correct one. So I'm going back for a moment just to close here the URL of the FortiGate and show you something cool. So you can click here on the FortiGate. Now again, we have our URL, you have our username, and we have our password. So what I'm going to do now is press Ctrl U. And what it's going to do is open the link that was saved in the entry in our default browser. So note, if your default browser is something else, it will open it in something else. Let's go ahead. Now my mouse cursor is on the username, and I'm going back now to the KeePass. And basically what I'm going to do now is press Ctrl V. As you can see, it automatically entered the username and the password and pressed the login button. Basically what it does does in the background Ctrl C to the username, Ctrl V to username, Ctrl C to the password. Before the password, obviously, it presses tab. Ctrl V to the password, as I said, and then presses enter. So if those combinations doesn't work on the login site that you are trying to log in, it won't log in you automatically. And then you can change the automatic login where you saw me don't do it before. Now, in the meanwhile, this is the new FortiGate style of the newest version 5.4. Okay, so let's close it for a moment and go back to our KeePass. Another thing that I want to show you here, another important thing, basically if you have lots of entries, you can search, obviously. You can lock the workspace, so basically you will lock the file, and when you want to open it, you'll have to enter your master password or whatever method you used. So let's go ahead and enter the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're back in. Another thing that you can do, basically you have a bunch of options here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but what I want to show you is go into options. And here you can see many cool stuff. So basically in a domain environment, when many people are in the office, when you leave your computer, for example, you want to lock the computer after some minutes, for example, depending on the policy at your office. So you can do the same with KeePass. You can lock the workspace after inactivity period, so for example 300 seconds. You can lock the workspace after global user inactivity, so if you don't touch the computer at all, not specifically KeePass. You can clipboard auto clear time. So for example, if you actually pressed Ctrl C on an entry, it will copy the password. So if you want it to be cleared after some seconds, it will do so as well. Another thing that I like to use at work is lock workspace when locking the computer or switching the user. So I use it on my work computer. Whenever I lock the computer, I want the KeePass to be locked as well. This is something that you should consider for security reasons. Anyway, another thing that you can find here is basically other stuff like exit instead of locking the workspace after the specific time. Always exit instead of locking the workspace. You know, some bunch of cool stuff. You can see here policy, for example, for plugins, for printing, for drag and drop, you know, to stop some options that you don't want to be used. You can customize a little bit the interface. Now, actually, I never did anything here. Integration. So again, those are the, you know, some shortcuts that you can use, and some advanced stuff as well. Basically, that's the whole thing about KeePass. Again, it's a very good tool for remembering all your passwords, and it's free and open source. It's been updated almost all the time, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's multi-platform, so you can use it wherever you want, on your Android, Mac, Linux, Windows, you name it, and you'll find a suitable version for it. Sadly, there is no good implementation that I have found up till now for corporations. So if you use Active Directory, for example, I didn't find anything good to be used at work, so you can deploy it for, for some sales department or for other departments, and predefine some passwords that they can use or cannot, share passwords or don't share passwords, stuff like that. So it's more, for personal usage or for team usage, but you won't be able probably to deploy it to all your organization and manage their passwords. So that's pretty much the whole idea of KeePass. Hope you enjoyed it. So that's it, guys, for today. As always, like this video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe, and when you do, don't forget to mark the V to receive future video updates. As always, see you in the next one. A few weeks ago I installed the Magic Lantern on my Canon 500D. So one of the options that it gives you is time-lapse.